Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report for the 12th of July, starting with the ASX200 here. We've been looking at this count moving up through here, and there's a couple of things that I'm not very happy with in terms of this little wave 4 here overlapping this particular wave 1 here. It's not a big deal, but it's just, these things add up. The other point here is this wave 4 here is rather small compared to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, the blue one here, and let alone this one of 2 degrees smaller here. So something's not quite right with this particular count, as I mentioned before. I must have talked about this being up here, this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So recounting this here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then coming up for 5 here. So having this as 1 and 2 here works okay. So I was just looking at that in on this chart here, which is basically a 2-day chart. Not that that's special, just gives me some room to do some more labeling. So looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 1 and wave 2 here. We've still got the problem of this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here overlapping here. But it leaves me with a better 5 waves up here for wave 1 and 2 here. It leaves me a better 1 and 2 because this wave 2 here is nice and sharp, So in this case, wave 2 is a better fit, and then going up here for wave 3. So this wave 3 here is actually longer than wave 1 here coming up. So that's all cool as well. So that's good. So this count has got legs in it. So currently we're looking at a little sort of correction here with this. That's cool. We'll look at that in a moment. But just for the big account here, 1 and 2, and up here for 3, and then 4, and then 5, moving up into this little area through here. So we'll track this, and we'll keep an eye on this as well. The important thing here, well, it's nice to have the right count, that's for sure. But the trade setups, they're more important, I'd reckon. So let's go in and have a little look at this. And we'll just have to use, because we've got a couple of counts, we'll just have to use a little bit of logic, taking the next logical step, as I like to say to myself. So with that in mind, we'll just go straight to the hourly chart because we need to reconcile this situation here. So this little top that we've got here, what we talked about last time is that it's pretty clear that we got 5 waves here. So we were looking for a move back up to the 61.8%. I didn't get that right here. It's expanded a little bit, but what I can see here is we've got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave, and an A and a B and a C here. Not a very good C wave for the B wave, and then up here for the C wave here. We're still really in the supply zone here of the 61.8%. And secondly, we didn't get support on top of group 1 here, Subgroup 1, so 10, 20 and 30 here. So we didn't get, I don't know if that's sitting exactly on 30, but there we go. We had the first high above the level, which gives us our reference point high, and that gives us our trigger there. So that can stay there for the time being. If that's breached for whatever reasons, then we can we'll go along from that point. Friday is normally the bullish day. Will we get that? It's kind of interesting, really, because if I have a look at the S&P 500, and I'm going to bring the S&P 500 across because it's close to a top, and it's on 20 ticks, so it's quite small. It's just the way they've been working with it. So I had wave 3 here as an A and a B and a C for little wave 4 here, and I was counting up here the other day for wave 1 and back for 2. So we've had that third wave up I was looking for, and wave 4 I was just looking at an A, a B and a C here for wave 4. A bit complicated, I won't go into it, but the main point is that I can't draw on this side of the tick chart, but we should see another move coming up above wave 3 here to make this wave 5 of 5 of 5 of 5 here. So we're looking for a top here, and I'm thinking, well, this is going to rally into this space here, so that will drag the Asian markets up into that with it there. So if that's the case, then that would make a nice little wave 2 here, wouldn't it? So that would bring this up here as a little sort of A, B, and C coming into this space here, and then moving down from that point. So yeah, so I'll just look at that on the tick chart here. So yeah, so this is 100 ticks, an A and a B and a C here, and then looking at this as basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then looking for a little A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming up here. So if I can just draw that out a little bit here. So we're up into this space here, so I'll just put this in. That's our little space there. So 6720 would be the closest largest number in this instance, and that's good, and that makes sense too, because you see all this price action here. Obviously there's a lot of volume buyers and sellers creating all of that thing there, so that's really that is the resistance. It may not reach that, but that's our that number, this zone here. So if we get a move, I can't draw on this side of the price chart with a tick chart, so we probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave, 3 for the B wave, and then 5 for the C wave here. If that's the case, I mean, you could short it from there, but I think just to be careful about this, make sure you get another 5 waves down coming off here, and then it will come back and bounce at this point, and then you can start to build your trade in. Once you've got that 5 waves down for wave 1, back for wave 2, and then you can trade down for wave 3 here, wave 3 will be longer than wave 1 here, so that will bring you down into 6650 sort of area here. Obviously group 2 here is going to offer a lot of support as well, as such, but yeah, we're looking for 5 waves down here. So wave 3, probably this will drag out as wave 4 stuck in there, and wave 5 in here somewhere. So possible to short in here, but don't forget we're going long above wave C, because that's the point where we're wrong here. And Friday in a bullish market is normally the bullish day, and we are in a bullish market, so Friday's the bullish day. So if it's not bullish, then you know that there's a change in trend. That's what it's telling you at that particular point. Alrighty, let's look at some of the other markets. We can start with the first one that comes up, Hong Kong. So with Hong Kong here, we're looking at the top here being wave 3 or wave C. If it's wave 3, we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and 5 waves down as a C wave, and that's the low here. If we were looking at it as wave C up here, then we would be looking for 5 waves down here. So we would need to count this as wave 1 here instead of wave A, wave 2 here instead of wave B. This would be wave 3 here. And then last time we spoke, we were looking for a move up to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, the 38.2% retracement level. So that came in here, but it also went higher here. We could probably still use that as wave 4 there as well. But I would need to see 5 waves down here for this. So that means that I can see we'd have wave 1 in here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here. If that's the case, then we'll get a correction here, and then we'll come further down here. So the short trade would be under here, and we'd need to get that extra move lower here. Now, if this was wave 4 here, then we're looking at this little structure here. Well, then we could look at it as little 5 waves up for 1 and back for 2, nice strong 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave. So we could actually label that here now as wave 1, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave well, wave 4 and wave 5 here. And then this move down through here would be an ABC correction here. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and it's moved into its 61.8% retracement level here. So it's possible for this to move straight up from here now as well. So we'll need to know at what point can we go in here at safety, and at what point at risk. So I'll just go into the tick chart here. I mean, just before we do, the 500 here is really critical because 5 is the second strongest number in the market, according to me. And over here, we can see that, you know, right across here, that 500 is played out as an important character in this play. So having that as support would be important. So if we just copy this here, that reference point high here, we can go long from that point. So we know that that's a safe place to go long at this stage, because also to here, if I took the top here and the bottom here, then this is the 50 and the 61.8% retracement level here. So that's important, really. Let's just go into the make your mind up, Pete. Let's go into a 5-minute chart here. I'll just go to a tick chart. There's a few problems in there that need to be resolved. Still doesn't resolve them for me, so I'll just have a closer look. Oh no, that helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from there to there. So that's part of that. That helps. That sorts one problem out. So we can look at this as 5 waves. We can look at this as a correction here. Well, we could be still one more wave short here. This one here is throwing me out here. I mean, I could look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and then 5 waves down here, but it doesn't really, I mean, this is overlapping this one here, so that makes it a little bit difficult to count it like that. So the other way to count this would be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, 4, 5. So there can be another wave in here. If I take that high here, still it's the wave 4 here. We can get, whoops a daisy, we can get one more move down here to, I'm sorry, I'm really just talking to myself here, which is a bit rude of me, a bit arrogant. Not arrogant, just I'm not that smart. So just getting back to this here, this, because of, I'm just cleaning this up because I probably won't go back here for a while and it will disappear and build up as memory in the machine. So it does look like there can be one more wave down here according to this thing, this sharp move here. Or maybe this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 coming back up here and 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's better. Because this looks rather impulsive here, I have to say. This move up here doesn't look corrective. So we know that 500 is really important, don't we? So what we can do now is that if I was looking for an extra bearish wave down there, it's really going to come in around here somewhere. So instead of coming in at 500, we could come in at 400 on the long side. It's a little bit sort of way off, but it's an improvement. So coming back to, I'll just clean these up here too. Coming back to the hourly chart here. So we can also go long now on the 400. So I'll just copy that, put that on 400, because we know that, yeah, any move above that should be cool. So I'll just copy that and put that down here. But also too, when you get to here, you know how we've used this first high above the level here. That's what we want over here as well, here. If this market moves down through here, right, then we're going to have then we've moved past the 61.8% if it comes down and bounces off the 20 here. So then we're likely to come back in 3 waves here. So we'd really need to be up there, but it does look bullish. So I'm just going to move this here, not like that, got to move that. In fact, we don't even need that. So we can stay with this here now. So just finishing this off here a little bit. As it stands at the moment, we can look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here. But that low needs to stay in play here at this stage. There's one more interesting thing here that we should really talk about as well. So the interesting thing here is, I'll just go back to the daily chart here. And we've talked about this before. This market moving down through here, up through here, it moved to the 61.8%, then it's moved here to the 61.8%, and then it's moved here to the 61.8%. Not quite here just yet. Let me just double check that here. No, it hasn't moved to that one just yet. I thought it had. Let me just, what was I looking at on the 4 hour and the other one? Oh, I've taken it from here. What have I done there? I've taken it from this one, have I? Oh no, that was just for the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. That's where it threw me out here. I'm just going to delete that. So we're not quite there yet. I thought we'd narrowed down a lot, but I was taking off here. We've gone up here to the 61.8% or the box, and down here to the box. So I was thinking that, I mean, it looks a bit sort of weird, but in the bigger picture, we would be move down, come back up for the 61.8%, come down for the 61.8%, here. It doesn't look like this, but this is basically what we're kind of tracking at the moment. So it'll get to a balance point within all of this, and then the market will move strongly once it reaches that balance point. It doesn't take much to move it from that point. India. So with India here, this is just go to the daily chart, the bigger picture first. So we've been counting up here as 1, expanded flat for wave 2, weird for a wave 1 and 2, also weird here for 1 and 2 being complicated here. Normally wave 2 is simple and wave 4 is complex, but in this situation we're getting complex wave 2s here and much simpler wave 4s here, and that's okay. It's just not common. That's all. The guideline of alternation. The other thing here too is that from wave 3 here to wave 4 here, the thing that bothers me here the most is that wave C here has moved sharper than wave A here. Normally that's not the case. So that's sort of raised red flags. So we need to monitor that a little bit. But we can't really go short here either just yet, because if we were going to go short here, we would need the medium level here, which is halfway between the 10 and the 13 here, major trading levels. We would need this medium level here to become the resistance, because currently it's the support. It may migrate under there and become the resistance, and even if it did become the resistance, we normally would see the market move down, bounce back, and then move through and then come back and retest it. I'm drawing it a bit large here, but it's that retest here, that low here, because if it fails from that point, then it comes down from that point, and we can get a better position on that. But basically that's what we'd be sort of looking at for this, and rightfully so. It can come down further as well, because the 38.2% retracement level from this wave 2 here comes in at the top here of this box, and the wave 4 at this lower end here. So it hasn't really reached all the way down here, but I know that large numbers, and I call 11,500 a large number, a medium level, so it can get scrunched up there a little bit, but there may be some more jiggling around in here before we've sort of finally finished with this here as well. So I thought we may have had the low in here, but we've got ourselves another low, and that's okay as well. So let's go in and talk about this little thing that's going on in here at the moment, and we'll go to the 1 hour chart to start with that. So this counts down here now better as 5 waves, but my problem here at the moment is that this little move up through here is in 3 waves here. It's not 5 waves to the upside here. So it looks like a corrective move to the upside here. Like I mentioned before, we shouldn't short. I mean, sure, you'll get a better price if you short from above here, above the level, the medium level here, but we don't have any evidence that it's going to move down from that point either at this stage. We do on this little 3-wave move here, but yeah, I still don't want to do it. So if we're going to go short here, we need this to come down here. We need that reference point low here, and then if that's breached, then we can go short from there. That's how we would look at that. So yeah, that's got to play. And there would also be another bounce here. If this came down through here, there would also be another bounce back up there as well for that. So there's a process for it to move to this side. Based on this 3-wave move here, you could short it from here. But then again, if we waited for this to play out a little bit, this looks like wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here. So if it came down here, that would actually give us 5 waves down. If it gave us 5 waves down, then you'll see a 3-wave bounce here, and then you could look to go short based on that 5 waves in the opposite direction, and you can look to short at that point. If this was if I got this wrong here, and let's just say, copy that, let's just say that this is all the 3rd wave down here, which I don't think it is, but if it was, we could look at this here as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So then wave 3 here, this is the 38.2% retracement level coming right in across the top here. So that's why I've put the green trigger here to go long here, because any move above that would take us higher. How high would it take us? Well, if I was wrong with all of this and we had some other top in play and this was down for 1 and back for 2 here, so long, this is a really, well, we've got 3 waves here, so it can't be anyway, but also too, the wave 2s would be much shorter here. Not shorter, but less time consuming here. But also too, with all of this, you know, this may get even more complicated as a wave 4 here. So if I copied this, this could just become the A wave here, and we could have another B wave over here, because wave 4s can get complicated here. And this could also pan out to be a triangle pattern as well, because it's either a triangle pattern as part of the flat family because of its structure. So yes, all of this could just become the A wave here, a B wave up here, B, C, D, and E wave over here, and then up from that point there as well. So when we look at the daily chart here, just once again, I hope it's okay shooting the breeze a little bit, but so this could be just the A wave to here, then there'll be the B wave here, then the C wave here, which would be in 3, then the D wave here, and then the E wave here for this, and then up from here. So that's also possible as well. Well, wave 4s, you know, can get a bit complicated, but because all these were complicated, I'm going on the basis that these are going to be simple here. So, but it's just good to talk about these things, because they'll be on you know, different folks' minds as such, and yeah, so it's good to explore everything. If anybody's got any other counts, always just send them to me. Always nice to have a look. So coming back to the hourly chart here and looking for triggers here, based on this 5-wave structure down here, then we should be moving up here. But based on this 3-wave price action here, I don't really see that the case. But at the same time, going long here would be the right thing to do here. It may not get us, all the way up here, but it will get us somewhere up here, and we can have a look at the structure. On the downside, we'll have a look at it like this here. But yeah. Also, it's got to be a little bit mindful too. If this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here's wave 1, and then back for 2, and then down for 3, and then 4, and then 5 here, that could end up being the low down here as well. And then we need to look at all this in a more complicated way in terms of this. Copy this wave 4 being here and wave 5 being over here. So it may not get you very far and get you trapped here as well. But you have to take the signals and manage the risk. Alrighty, that's a long-winded video, but it was just shooting the breeze. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.